The first Intellivision Collection to hit the Evercade includes a mixture of different game types, with one of the 12 included being here to provide us not just with entertainment, but with a little bit of education as well. Yes, that's right, it's time to hone our language skills with Word Rockets. It's a learning game released for the Intellivision as part of the Learning Fun 2 pack. Now that came out in 1987 as a release by INTV Corp, but Word Rockets is actually much older than that. It originally released in 1980 as part of the Electric Company Word Fun cartridge, published at that point by Mattel. Now the reason I'm furnishing you with all these extra details on this game and its previous releases in the early going in this review is because it was only one part of an overall package originally. The Electric Company Word Fun cartridge was a collection of 3 educational games, Word Rockets being joined by Crosswords and Word Hunt. The 1987 release came with those 3 games and then a 4th one called Memory Fun. So that being said, it seems odd to me that this game, a third or a quarter of its previous incarnations, has been included by itself for this cartridge. And it'll go some way to explaining why there's really not a lot to this game. The objective of Word Rockets is to grab one of the 4 vowels that's down on the ground and then throw it up into the floating letters above to create a valid word. That's the premise of this game, and that's essentially all there is to it. The little cart that you move around doesn't move overly fast, and neither does the letter once you choose one and push it up into the air. Usually this isn't an issue, as the floating, incomplete words don't tend to go too fast for the most part either. That is, aside from when they do. Occasionally they'll scream past at a speed that's just way too quick for you to deal with. It's not really a problem though, as you don't lose any points or suffer any penalty for not making a word or for making an incorrect word. All that happens is either A, nothing, if you also do nothing, the incomplete word will simply float by and then you get another one to try, or B, you give it a go and if the word that you try to make is invalid, then the letter you threw up just bounces away into the ether. Occasionally you can use this as you'll end up with too many of the same vowels to choose from down on the ground, so you can chuck some away and refresh the selection. So, with this all being said, what is the point of Word Rockets? The objective as a game, as far as I could gather, was to score 50 points by making 50 valid words in the quickest time possible. That's what the Evercade manual and the description on the game screen suggested to me anyway. I played through this a few times though, and I just found the game ended once I'd reached 25 words. Word Rockets is set to have 2 players playing at the same time by default. As you can see here, I'm the little yellow cart storming around doing all the work, while the lazy red cart just sits there motionless. I was playing alone, so I don't know if that made a difference in terms of the game cutting me off at the 25 word mark. Perhaps if the red cart is also putting in the effort and scoring some points, the game might have gone on longer. I can't say for sure though. Now it's suddenly striking me that I've got this far into a review of an edutainment game from the 1980s without telling you if this is actually, fun in any way. Well, I'm sorry to say that this game is not particularly entertaining. It's far too basic in its premise, especially as you only ever make 3-letter words. I get you only throwing up the 1 vowel at a time, but they definitely could have included some 4 or 5-letter words for variety, and to add a little bit of difficulty and a sense of progression to any of the kids that actually might have been giving this thing a go. Obviously, being an adult man, I'm not the target audience for this game, so I'm going to grade it on a bit of a curve and look at it from the perspective of how it would appeal to a primary school age child from today. With that in mind, I can't imagine this would keep their attention for very long. I didn't get a chance to try out the multiplayer mode, but that might be fun for a bit as you'd be in a race to try and make the correct word before the other player could. It is easy to pick up and play, as you'd expect for a game designed at young kids, and the graphics and the little sound effects, they're all fine for a game from its time. I'm going to give Word Rockets a 3 out of 10 score with all this in mind. It might keep kids amused for a few minutes, but the lack of progression or levels of difficulty mean this one is going to end up getting dull pretty quickly. As it is a smaller part of a larger release, it makes me wonder if we'll receive some of these other learning fun titles on the Evercade in the future. Indeed, I'm still wondering why they carved out only the 1 title out of those previous packs. I wouldn't have thought it would take much effort to get them all on the cartridge and then have a more dedicated, educational, edutainment offering on here. As it is, this feels like an odd inclusion on the overall cartridge, and it isn't something that's going to have much appeal. So that's a look at Word Rockets. Thanks for joining me on this perhaps overly long analysis of a rather basic learning game. Please give me a like or subscribe if you enjoyed this one, as more Evercade videos will be coming up soon, and until next time, take it easy.